It's Friday, the 28th of March. Welcome to the PDB Afternoon Bulletin. I'm Mike Baker, your eyes and ears on the world stage. And yes, I'm still on the road. Let's get briefed. We'll start things off with an arrest in a Molotov cocktail attack on a Tesla dealership. Now, federal authorities say it was no random act of vandalism. Well, congratulations to the federal authorities. They've won today's PDB Statement of the Obvious Award. Later in the show, Iran has responded to President Trump's outreach, but while they didn't slam the door on negotiations, they're not ready to sit down at the table either. But first, today's afternoon spotlight. A politically charged firebombing attack on a Tesla dealership in Las Vegas has led to a federal investigation and now an arrest. Authorities say that 36-year-old Paul Hyun Kim has been taken into custody, accused of carrying out a Molotov cocktail attack that torched multiple Teslas at a local collision center last week. According to Las Vegas police, Kim arrived at the Tesla site late at night on March 18th in a black Hyundai Elantra, dressed in all black and wearing gloves. There's a clue in there somewhere. He allegedly approached the building, damaged security cameras with a rifle, another clue, I think, and then proceeded to set at least 5 vehicles on fire. Yeah, the evidence does appear to be mounting. The word resist was spray painted across the front doors of the facility. This guy is basically a walking evidence trail. Investigators also discovered an unlit Molotov cocktail inside one of the vehicles. That's a detail that suggests the situation could have been even worse. Police say Kim tried to cover his tracks, but, well, clearly it didn't work. His DNA matched samples collected at the scene, and a search of his apartment and 2 vehicles turned up a small arsenal, multiple firearms, including rifles, a shotgun, a handgun, and a stockpile of ammunition and gun parts. According to investigators, Kim's social media accounts included posts supporting communist causes and expressing solidarity with pro-Palestinian movements. That political context has led some to argue that these attacks amount to acts of terrorism. Some? Can we please meet the gormless morons who don't think that this would be considered domestic terrorism? Kim is facing a long list of state charges, including arson, property destruction, and possession of a fire device. But that may just be the beginning. FBI officials say that federal charges are also coming. At a press conference, FBI Special Agent in Charge Spencer Evans had strong words for those inspired to commit violence in the name of political causes. He said, quote, "There's nothing courageous or noble about firebombing private property and terrorizing your local community. The self-righteous mob that's cheering you on today will leave you high and dry at the end of the day, and you alone will be held responsible." End quote. Well, that's a good try as far as statements go, but I don't think that the self-righteous mob cares. They're, well, too busy being self-righteous. Look, feeling like you're better, like you're smarter and more morally superior is an all-consuming pastime for folks who cheer on this type of terroristic crime. As we reported earlier this week, the FBI has formed a new joint task force with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to investigate violent attacks like this one. It's part of a growing federal effort to crack down on ideologically driven crimes across the country. Since January, Tesla has become a repeated target of politically motivated arson and vandalism. From Oregon to South Carolina, at least 9 incidents involving Molotov cocktails, gunfire, and incendiary devices have struck Tesla dealerships, vehicles, and charging stations. Graffiti messages like "resist" and "F Trump" have accompanied many of the attacks, raising concerns that Tesla, and by extension, of course, Elon Musk, have become lightning rods for ideologues lashing out against perceived political or corporate enemies. All right, coming up next, Iran replies to President Trump's call for nuclear talks, offering a vague response that stops short of a yes, but doesn't close the door either. I'll be right back. Hi, Mike Baker here. Look around. Well, what do you see? Tariff wars, recession fears, stubborn inflation. No wonder that gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. Look, in volatile markets, like the one right now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. Take charge, take control, and safeguard your savings. That's why so many Americans today are turning to Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. So ask yourself, is it time for you to hedge against inflation and economic instability with gold? To learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, just text PDB to 989-898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation information kit. Again, text PDB to the number 989-898. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, I trust Birch Gold to help me protect my savings with gold, and you can too. Simply text PDB to 989-898 today. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. It appears the mullahs of Iran want to keep their diplomatic options open with the Trump administration in the hopes of avoiding a direct military confrontation over their reportedly rapidly advancing covert nuclear program. Leaders in Tehran said Thursday that they've delivered a formal written response to President Trump regarding his letter proposing direct negotiations for a new nuclear deal, which also threatens severe military consequences if the Iranians refuse. While details of their response are not yet known, Iran is reportedly attempting to stake out a middle ground, rejecting face-to-face talks, but not ruling out negotiations entirely, and that's according to a New York Times report. The regime reportedly delivered their reply through Omani mediators, who briefed the U.S. on the message. Officials said the letter would be delivered by Oman to the White House in the coming days. The White House has not yet commented on the details, but Kamal Karazi, a senior foreign policy advisor to Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, reportedly told local media, quote, "The Islamic Republic has not closed all the doors and is willing to begin indirect negotiations with the U.S." The remarks echoed an earlier statement from Iran's foreign minister, who told state media on Thursday that Iran had sent the White House their comprehensive views on the concerns raised by President Trump and what the mullahs would like to see from the U.S. if nuclear talks are to be revived. The foreign minister said, quote, "Our policy is to not negotiate directly while there's maximum pressure policies from the U.S. and threats of military strikes, but indirect negotiations can take place as they have in the past," end quote. It's a subtle but notable shift in rhetoric from the Islamic regime. As a reminder, President Trump sent a personal letter to the Ayatollah just 3 weeks ago, offering him a choice between engaging in good faith negotiations for a nuclear deal or facing the wrath of the American military. In an interview with Fox Business after sending the letter, Trump said, quote, "There are two ways that Iran can be handled, militarily, or you make a deal. I would prefer," he said, "to make a deal." Still, Trump threatened what he described as, quote, "terrible consequences for the regime should they refuse to back down on the nuclear issue." While he stressed that his letter was not meant as an ultimatum, Trump reportedly gave the regime a 2-month deadline to reach an agreement, which kind of sounds like an ultimatum. Iran's response to the diplomatic overtures was initially icy. According to state media, in the days that followed, the Ayatollah was quoted as saying that the regime would not be bullied into negotiations, and that's a sentiment shared by Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, who in public remarks bluntly told Trump to, quote, "do whatever the hell you want." But he has since distanced himself from those statements. According to the report from the New York Times, he recently told Parliament that he favors negotiations, but would ultimately defer to the Supreme Leader. Iran's softening tone follows reports earlier this week that the U.S. has recently been moving a significant number of military assets, including at least 5 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, to the Diego Garcia Air Base in the Indian Ocean. The base has long served as a staging ground for long-range strike missions in the Middle East. The activity ignited speculation that strikes on Iran's nuclear sites could be next on the Trump administration's agenda. Analysts said that, at the very least, it appeared the White House was sending a message to the regime that they are prepared to follow through on their threats of military force. As we've been tracking on the PDB, Tehran has vastly increased their stockpile of highly enriched uranium over just the past few months, and now has enough material reportedly to produce at least 6 nuclear weapons. Given the threat that a nuclear Iran would pose to Israel and to other regional players and interests, Trump has made halting their progress a top priority in his second term. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Friday, 28 March. Now, if you have any questions or comments, and I hope you do, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And finally, well, we've made it to the end of the week. Friday, well done. Don't forget to spice up your weekend with the latest episode of our extended weekend show, the PDB Situation Report. Every Friday evening at 10 p.m. on the First TV, we let loose with another episode of the Situation Report. This week's guests include the always insightful and entertaining retired Colonel John Mills and the always excellent Alireza Jafarzadeh. We're talking the Signal chat group, you may have heard about that, secure comms, war plans, the Iranian regime, and the Houthis. This week's episode and past episodes are always available on our YouTube channel, which you can find at President's Daily Brief, as well as the podcast platforms that you know and love. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back over the weekend with the PDB Situation Report. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.